Hartman's Community Centre, Milton, Ontario, Canada. Dragons were straying from the path of the great serpent, lost little sinful lambs. As Magrath turns away from Aurelio's frozen greeting, she notes that all the tribes are present, in the caverns as well as creatures with no tribe to call their own. Over in one corner, some witch dragonesses are discussing the latest in spell casting. In a pool fed by the salt waters of the Gulf, she sees several sea serpents playing and splashing water on an annoyed French sky dragon who is setting up a 500-gallon drum to use to beat the rhythm to the serpent dance. Over in another gallery, a word dragon is trying to coax his terrified twin sister in human shape to transform into her proper dragon shape. In her human form, his sister has no memories of being a word dragon and is terrified of the reptilian, which won't eat her, but is definitely roaring and displaying his sharp teeth. Unfortunately for the two of them, she just can't seem to get out of her human mode. There are two huge crows with the heads of a dragon and dragons with the head of huge crows. There are serpents with 3 heads, dragons with 2 tails. Off in one corner, a visiting Pathoga sits all by himself. He pushed himself too far and transformed into the pure demon form of his race, a huge skull attached to a rotting lizard skeleton with a healthy beating heart in his rib cage, pumping non-existent blood. The dragons avoid his smelly, living dead carcass, and no doubt he's hoping that a witch dragoness can reverse his transformation. Off on a stone shelf specially reserved for her, an ancient bipedal carnivorous dragon named Margaret sleeps off a good night's hunt from England. Her wings spread at her sides, ready to strike at any foolish dragonette who should venture too close. All around the cavern slide and crawl serpents. This tribe of primitive dragon is not very well developed. Serpents have an intellect somewhere higher than a toad, but no more than that of a dog. The smarter ones can be trained to do tricks, and the feeble-minded ones are left to wander about as they will. Up till a few years ago, they were regarded by dragons at best as pets and at worst as vermin. This last classification is what brought the plight of serpents to his attention. If the rest of the dragon race would turn up their snouts at them, then she'd do just the opposite. Her first divine form was as a serpent, and she adopted them into her family of servants and followers. Being an adopted runt herself, one could say she became soulmates with this primitive dragon race. In doing so, she infused in herself a bit of the heritage of the great serpents left to their descendants. Thus, any dragon descendant from his has a more primitive and primeval aspect to their natures that some of the most advanced dragon races do not. Having probably descended from the great serpents through the serpent race, there is one aspect that dragons will never, ever escape from: that healthy roar. Serpents bellow all the time, and the ceremonial cavern was no doubt filled with their roars and hisses. A dragon likes to get out a window pane-shattering bellow, but they are smart enough to know to keep quiet if humans are passing by. Being primitive creatures, the life of a serpent boils down to eating, leaping, sleeping, mating, and roaring away, activities they occasionally do all at the same time. They are serpents after all, thus one might wonder why all the other dragons and creatures in the cavern tolerated serpents slithering all over the place and poking their snouts where they ought not to be. There were heraldic dragons leading pet wyverns by the leash in that crowd, but even the dimmest, lowliest serpent was treated as if it were royalty. It didn't have anything to do with the long-dead great serpent. It had everything to do with a sweet young French sky dragoness named Ida.